Good evening, good morning, good afternoon from wherever you're watching us from. This is HomaBayUnplugged. And as you already know, we bring you stories from the heart of the lake. Be it a fisherman, a poet, an artist. As long as he's a change maker making remarkable things in and around his society, be sure they'll be at HomaBayUnplugged. And in this world, we bring you conversations that inspire, entertain, and connect people around the globe. And on this episode, we're taking it all around the globe and you are on the road. This episode is filmed in Kampala, the heart and the pearl of Africa, the home of the cranes, right?
Yeah, man.
Yeah, that's for sure, man. Yeah, I'm so happy, I'm so excited that you're taking HomaBayUnplugged global and on the road. With us here is an amazing person. I just need to read his biography so that you get to know him better. His name is Geoffrey.
Yep.
Senyondo. Yes.
It actually means the big hammer, like the biggest hammer. Like,
the biggest hammer.
Yeah.
Oh, like Nyundo.
Yeah. So
okay.
For those guys who have watched
Marvel
movies,
yes,
the guy who uses is it called the Thug?
Yes.
That's now.
Awesome. Amazing. So you have Marvel superheroes. That's the most entertaining thing we always have on each and every episode. So Geoffrey Senyondo.
Yeah.
Or the Nyundo.
Yeah.
Yes. Also known as Geoff the Poet on all social media platforms, is a passionate spoken word poet. He crafts and performs original written content, drawing inspiration from life experiences, imagination, and fervent desire to educate and entertain society and the world at large. With every topic and word choice, he aims to impact others and express his heartbeat. His poems often take the form of a letter, prayer, or offering, shedding light on social injustices, activism, and social consciousness. As a guitarist, he offers studio-related services during poetry recordings, live band, and performances. Additionally, he serves as a curator of a monthly poetry show called Spoken, organized under the Moyo Initiative and under the branding company Godson Print Services Limited. He's a graphic designer and also fuses poetry in his design. And amongst his tagline is, he seeks to speak to the downcast and speak for the hurting outcast. Yo, what a wonderful way to start this episode in Kampala.
Man.
Welcome, Geoff.
Just delighted to be on this podcast. Like from the time you guys launched, my heart started beating. I'm like, will I be able to be featured on such an amazing piece of work?
Yeah.
Because I'm so sure stories that come from the shores of the lakes are always interesting stories because they are authentic and original.
Yes.
Yeah. I really treasure people who live by the lakeside.
Yeah. So truly, because you're all across the lake, across the globe. We share the biggest and the deepest lake, and we share Lake Victoria.
Yeah.
So tell us, who's Geoff the Poet?
Geoff the Poet is a tiny statured fella. for those who really feel like really intimidated by how you look, by structure, but really fine-tuned to draw impact to this world.
Yeah.
Yes. Out of whatever has been spoken about me on the bio, I'm a mechanical engineer. I'm a technical person. I actually have done a lot of the technical work, handyman work. So I'm that kind of diverse person.
Oh, amazing. So where did it all start? Kindly take us back to your childhood.
Yeah, I think I'm from a family of 7, and I happen to be the firstborn on my mom's side, but then the secondborn on my dad's side. So I kind of grew up in a place whereby I was pushed to lead others. Yeah, so I would say I come from a place called Chotela. Chotela is quite a little bit southwest part of Uganda. The lake actually also borders there. We have Lake Victoria also has a certain place there. For us, we call it Kasensero. It's like the shore, the way you could have the version of Homa Bay on the other side. Yeah. So I come from that kind of place also. Yeah, almost next to the Tanzanian border.
Oh, amazing. So how was your upbringing, being it that you came from a blended family?
Yeah.
How was it growing up and like education, playing around with kids? How was it?
Shout out to like my mom and dad. Raising a mixed family is not something easy, especially in this era where you have to keep your children together regardless. But they've done really a good job to ensure each of us is tracked out and make sure we are somewhere. Yeah, currently I would say, despite the loss of one, the rest of us are still moving in the right direction. Yeah, but growing up like as a child, it was much of you need to be at school, you just don't need to do anything else. Hasn't really much allowed to enjoy fun in the school choir or something. But the stubborn me and the inside creativity of me could still sneak in and join the teams.
Yeah. So what is your favorite pastime? Like what did you used to enjoy doing as a child?
As a child, I usually loved kind of, can I say, cramming Bible tracts like in my head. And then actually in the what we used to call education week, then I would be given the task of representing my school in reciting like a full chapter of head.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's really interesting. So you're more into drama and arts from like an early age. Yeah. Could you kindly also paint us a picture how your primary school life was through into high school?
Yeah, actually, at that point, before I even start talking about my primary school, shout out to Children of Uganda. It was known as Daughters of Charity by then, an organization that was founded by the late Sister Muyinza Rose. Rest in peace. I was taken on at an early age from my family because of what my family would support the organization to do in the district. So they took me on and they actually ensured my school time is covered by them. So I was literally in the orphanage home and I was studying from the same school where I was. So my primary life was a bit of enjoyment, I would say, but had its ups and downs, a lot of caning. I don't know whether people really now get caning these days, but our teachers used to be tough. And we used to call them uncles and aunties. They were not teachers.
Yeah.
So it was more of a family. So you realize it was like homeschooling set.
I see. So getting on to, were there like any fond memories being at the school that has shaped who you are now?
Yeah, I think my biggest moment that I have to remember, there was a certain man called Joseph. He came to the school as a facilitator.
Yeah.
And the first time I was speaking to him looking down and hit my head and told me, look straight into my eyes when you're speaking to me.
Yeah.
And I think that changed my life.
Yeah.
I realized there's nothing like something that should intimidate you. Yeah. Look straight into its eyes and then say what you want to say.
Yeah. So coming in from a blended family, then you moved into an orphanage. Yeah. Typically an orphanage is a habitat or a school for orphans.
Yeah.
How is it that you are in an orphanage yet your parents are still there and they are well capable to take care of you? How was it transitioning or living around kids who are orphans?
It wasn't really easy. It wasn't easy, but I think again it was something I think God pre-designed, that I get to understand the different spheres of life.
Yeah.
Because at first I felt like I don't need to be in that place. I need to go back home.
Yeah.
But over time, it dawned on me that I had to adapt to the issues there, because even sometimes in the holidays they would not release us to go back home.
Yeah.
They would we would either help out in farming in the farm to ensure we have produce for the next term for the school.
Yeah.
So it had to, so many things had to change.
Yeah.
But I think now looking back, I'm so grateful I had to go through that.
Wow.
Yeah.
Amazing. So how was the relationship with like kids who are orphans in the school, and also
actually up to now, I think one of my biggest friends even around town that like we usually tackle, even as my startup of Godson Prints as a printing guy.
Yeah.
The printing press guy that really supports my business is a product of that same organization, and he has really helped me to shape up my business. So I can tell you that's how deep it is, that we got so many in touch with so many people that now when we live around town, you can't walk a few meters without getting a friend or another person that came through the same organization. And that really makes the whole sense of it.
Also, as we discussed earlier, you're more into sciences also, yes. And getting on to engineering.
Yes.
So was that shaped from an early age? What was the inspiration that really drove you to pursue that line of career?
From a tender age, like from the youngest age, I was only good at math.
Yeah.
That is the only thing. If there was a way I could only do math and leave the rest to the others, I would be okay. So, my shout out to my math teachers. I really excelled at math. Till the end, till the degree level. I'm just so good with trying to add up things.
Yeah.
So the engineering bit, I would say, again, it's much of maybe what university choices would be.
Yeah.
But literally, my biggest inspiration that I wanted was much to do with industrial art and design.
Okay.
Though it was like my third choice, and then a story that also had its impact, because by then they only told us, the organization by then had started laying off most of its produced kids and sons, let me say. Because I think after the passing on of the founder, there was some kind of struggles and here. So they told us after senior 6, they were not going to be able to sponsor us for university level. And the prayer was, get a government sponsorship and maybe you can continue to the university. And now that's when I was able to go to the university. So the choice that I was given at campus, to me, it was a blessing. I could not even think of changing that course, because I knew that was the only way I could do my university level and finish it. But literally, from the passion point of view, I first guys who do industrial art and design.
Amazing. So you'll break it for us down what industrial design,
art and design
is. And also you take us back a bit, because you are in primary. How did you fare on to like high school, and then coming to choose that career?
Now, after primary 7, which, sorry, I may sound like I'm bragging in the interview, but I used to excel in school. Like literally, that is the mere fact. So I excelled at primary 7 level. I was amongst the best 3 students in the school. And, just as I said, the organization took us as a batch of around almost 25 students from the same primary school to the same secondary school. So that's how we traversed from Chotera district to Kampala. And we start a new life in Kampala. And still there was another home in Mukono, which is a nearby Kampala, where we would stay every after we've had our holidays. So we were still in the same ecosystem, but this time driven by the programs of the organization and what they're doing. So this is how I get into the secondary level. And in that transition, I just kept excelling, because, there is this pressure that comes with, you have to study. If you don't study, things are not like good for you. So I really tried to keep the wheel rolling until when I ran through the high school time.
Oh, amazing. So coming from, Chotela. Let's say like Chotela.
Yes.
And then into Kampala.
Yes.
How was that transition to you?
Man, just don't talk about that, because that's how many years back, if I'm to remember. I think I first came to Kampala in 2003. And I know you come from Nairobi. Thanks, by the way, you'll help me to Nairobi.
Yeah.
But like the first time I was in Nairobi cannot even be compared the first time I was in Kampala.
Yeah.
And you know how the difference of the two cities are.
Yeah, it was.
The first time I came to Kampala, it seemed like I had gone to UK.
Yeah.
Because I remember the first image they showed us was the clock tower.
Yeah.
And used to look for where is the clock tower.
Yeah.
So being there and seeing myself, because the van that brought us had really to pass there so as to connect to the nearby route. So it was a glorious moment. Yeah. So I would say I was excited, but then after obviously settling in, now I realized how things were not that as easy as thought.
Yeah.
I was used to stuff like whereby you go to, if you feel hungry, you go to the garden and pick any sugar cane you want, pick any mango you want to eat. And now this time I cannot even figure out what to eat. I have just to wait to go to the canteen and buy stuff. That was easy.
Yeah, it was crazy in the beginning.
Easy,
Yeah. So how was it now moving on to now in high school? Were there like any favorite sports? Were you into arts?
Yeah, so now when I get to high school, I think now I had to start taking choices. You know, in the Ugandan system around senior 2, you have to start kind of cutting your direction where you're going to be.
Yeah.
So I wasn't a fan of literature and English, so that was the first thing I scrapped off my list for the subjects I take.
Yeah.
And again, I was excelling in music, but I hadn't thought of really going into music.
Yeah.
So my music teacher had this kind of mandated, I don't know how he used to do it. He was actually almost the same size as me, and we had named him Crochet. Crochet is one of the music notes.
Yeah.
So we used to call him Crochet is coming, like Crochet is coming.
He used to sing or close?
No, he was teaching us crochet, like semi-quavers. So for us, we named him Crochet because a crochet looks like a little bit, you know, that musical side.
Yes.
So we called him that. And you know how high school boys can be with nicknaming teachers.
Yes, for sure.
So he had this mandate on me that every evening I go to his place and he tries to teach me piano. He had a grand keyboard in his room. But the jumpy person in me was not like kind of restless yet. The moment I could take my fingers on the keyboard and it jumps out, I also jump out, go to the pitch and play football.
Yeah.
And then that's how I missed learning keyboard, like really missed learning keyboard.
Yeah.
Because I had been introduced to keyboard way early at that time. I would have like really learned too much on the keyboard.
Yeah.
I can play some, but I'm not that a keyboardist.
Yeah.
But I wish I had now taken up that opportunity, because I think he had seen it in me that I could be a musician at some point. Yeah.
So, and games? So you also into games?
I tried the game, but man, I couldn't cut the lines. Like, you know, when you play and then there's a school team cut off and stuff like that. I think I only represented my school once, and then I was on the bench.
I see.
Yeah, but it was just a whole roller coaster of experimenting, because I think I also engaged in athletics.
Yeah.
And my highlight in athletics was one time when they were choosing the final team.
Yeah.
And as amongst the first 3 at the start of the lap, we were engaging in the 7 laps.
Yeah.
And by the time of the 5th, I was around the 3rd position.
Yeah.
Coming to the 6th and 7th.
Yeah.
Man, guys were passing me, yet I was running at maximum speed.
Yeah.
So I just couldn't finish the race. I just jumped out and said, guys, just help me out. I was lost of breath.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's amazing. So art was still etched in you as you were pretty much navigating life.
Literally, to me, the reason that's why I say art was engraved in me is I was this kind of type that would waste time to stand on the street and watch the guys play the dramatical guys play their guitar.
Yeah.
For us in Uganda, we call it kadong kamu, like with a bike. Guy moves with a speaker and then plays some music. Actually, one time, to give you a recap, one time he found me in town holding a guitar.
Yeah.
And he called my name and told me, "You're now a musician. You're now playing guitar. I told you are going to be a guitarist. Like you're going to be an instrumentalist."
That's so
amazing.
And
I think if it is a moment for him to reflect on, I think it was also a good moment for him.
Yeah.
Yeah. Though I just look forward maybe one time where he can show up and be part of, to see exactly what I'm doing in this art form.
Amazing. So that's a really good transition between on how also like the teachers helped shape like your career and speak into your life and also get you towards like the forms of art and how you also grow to be as an artist.
Yes.
I'm trying to wonder also, like this was your school relationship with your art and the things that you do.
Yes.
So in high school, how's the relationship with your family and also with your siblings?
Okay. Yeah, that's really, as I said, at some point I wasn't too much at home.
Yeah.
I wasn't too much at home. And I'm not saying I really lost contact with people at home, but it wasn't, I grew up to be this kind of person that is not so much reliant on family.
Yeah.
So like most of the stuff I do, I'm not a mom's boy. Like, yes, I can, like, I love, shout out to my mom and my dad. I like my parents, but I'm not this kind of person who will be like calling every week or something like that. Because I only want to come in maybe when there's an issue. Yeah, so being in the other setting really just opened me up to a life that can kind of provide solution to so many things and just be expecting people like to give back. So it's really that kind of relationship that I had to explore during that time.
So was it partly inspired by being in school for a considerable period of time?
Because remember, we had literally I started boarding school at a way young age.
Yeah.
So even when it wasn't being like the boarding school was already in a home where we stay.
Yeah.
So it seemed like I was at the school all the time.
I see.
Yes.
I see. So now transitioning into like now to campus.
Yeah, now even before we get to campus, you know, in Uganda you have what we call high school. Like, okay, our high school is not the O level. O level is like the 4 years from senior 1 to senior 4.
Yeah.
But now when you have the other high school, the one we call the high school is senior 5 and senior 6, 2 years.
The A levels.
Now the A levels.
Yeah.
Now that one, I think that is where a little bit of a shift to really, like if it was a destiny, that now that's where the destiny now starts coming in. Because when I reach campus, like when I reach high school, first I felt like I could not do choirs anymore.
Yeah.
Because now for choirs, given my stature for choirs, I had to be at the front line.
Yeah.
And I had started feeling I don't want to be at the front line.
Yeah.
I want to be like back and now every time they would arrange the stage, they would ask me to come in front. I'm like, like you're supposed to be in front. So I'm like, no, I transit into what we call miming.
I see.
Yeah, so I had a lot, actually for shout out for my high school, A-level guys at Seta High School, Mr. Mingo, the minister, and his team. I happened to go to that school after excelling at O-level, and then they were asked, somehow Mr. Ming, I think, was in touch with the organization and he felt like I would be a good additive to that school, so I can study my A-level from there. So I transited into miming. And you know, in Seta High School, it was like a fancy school for some middle class and high class students. So it was almost a party moment every weekend.
I see.
But now I wasn't like a party animal who likes like being around and dancing and what. I never wanted like a lot of crowds.
Yeah.
But somehow I found myself, I loved being at the stage.
Yeah.
Being able to be the one now to show these guys how we do the game. Yeah.
Yeah. So how was that transition? Because now you are from like high school that you fell through by chance.
Yes.
You're in an orphanage.
Yeah.
And then now you are now with the elites.
Yes.
In the country and also in the middle class.
Yes.
How was that even mentally to you now? Like, and then now you're now in Kampala, based in Kampala, and now you are transitioning through all these 3 stages of life.
One scenario I remember very well was when my roommate, because our dormitories had like kind of cubicles.
Yeah.
When one of my roommates is a son to one of a prominent guy from Chotera, where I actually come from, happened to be my roommate and was a good friend. One time, like they had visited on a VD, and the guy says, I think this driver has taken my money. I'm like, what do you mean? My dad can't give me 250,000 shilling. To me, that was what I'm talking about.
Mm-hmm.
My dad gave me, by then my dad would give me around 30 to 50K at the start of the term because I wasn't at home, but at least he would find a way of giving me upkeep.
Yeah.
And for the whole term, I'm supposed to balance on the 50,000 Ugandan shilling to even spare transport in case I'm to go home or something like that.
Yeah.
And then this guy is here ranting about not like 250 is not what his dad gives you.
Yeah.
Should be the driver took some.
Yeah.
That was not easy to read. And in the dormitory, you would find stacked boxes of all stuff like splash, milk and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And yet you came with your bag and maybe some bit of grub and appetite.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it worked out. However, I think what really pulled me was I now became a master at discussion groups. So I had friends. I literally could have people's keys. They could give me keys to go and open their boxes to pick it and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that's when I found that again, it became like now I've mastered the game.
Yeah.
So, cause I would literally eat anything I want in the dormitory from anyone I want.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cause they will know I'm going to discuss for them.
Oh, amazing. So as now in Seta High School, how was like the teacher-student relationship like in growing up, in shaping you, and also in growing your career?
As I said, man, math was my thing.
Yeah.
So shout out to Mr. Matov, who was so surprising. I was told by 2 people called Matov, all by math. At O level, the teacher was Matovu, and at A level, the teacher was also Matovu.
Amazing. Also, the Matovu are really good in math.
Yes. So, and Mr. Matov at A level was this kind of guy who would, I don't know whether he did this psychologically on me, but I remember even when we met at campus, he was doing his senior level, and I was doing my ordinary level. And we met at campus and we were chatting about the same thing. And I asked him, was that a trickster on me or something? He used to do one thing. If a senior 5, especially ladies, if a senior 5 girl takes a number to him, he would ask the girl to first bring it to me in senior 6. And if I failed to do that number, I would ask me and that girl will go to the staff room. He does that number when I'm there to understand it. So you see how I could get extra lessons.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that was really my student-teacher relationship at A level.
At A level. And now how was it now transitioning into now campus?
Now campus obviously is a jungle.
Yeah.
Campus is a jungle. It's everything of no one. Like you just need to do your game.
Yeah.
Literally at campus, I wasn't an academia kind of guy. When I went to the campus, it was much. First day on campus, I went to the chapel and I saw a guy. He's now a doctor.
Yeah.
He was singing and he was holding an acoustic guitar.
Yeah.
He was singing a Hillsong song.
Yeah.
And I had a CD of Hillsong back in my room.
Yeah.
And I had practiced what we call the virtual guitar. I don't know whether you know the virtual guitar.
Yes.
Where you stand and you just pluck something you're not holding.
Yeah.
So seeing him on stage and singing and doing that,
yeah,
I made a resolution. I have to learn guitar.
Yeah.
So I could go to lectures, just do the normal programs, also do, which I also excelled, by the way. I did fail campus, but my target at campus wasn't much about academia.
Yeah.
I was just tapping into the other spaces, like the creative spaces.
Yeah. That's pretty amazing. And then you are to break for us down the course that you are called for, or you chose to do in campus, and what it entails.
Now the course I did is mechanical engineering, mechanical and manufacturing engineering. Literally, it would mean I'm supposed to be a head of section in like a processing plant.
Yeah.
And like oversee the processing, like the processing line from mixing to packaging to delivery and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But I did that like for 6 months after campus. I resigned actually. I couldn't handle it because
really
I was like, it was reminding me I'm going to the normal morning school, come back home.
Yeah. So what was it about processing that really made you
literally I was supposed to
things?
I was meant to go to a factory, and now for me even during those 6 months, the first task I was given, the job they gave me was to be a machine operator.
Yeah.
Now literally I couldn't, like, the mere fact that it's an automated system, I'm there to watch open, close. My mind was being triggered to, how do I solve problems here?
Yeah.
If the machine is down, I don't have anything to do. I'm just sitting.
Yeah.
That wasn't working for me.
Yeah. That's pretty interesting. So in terms of even in campus, were you involved in like student politics? How was governance at that time? And then we'll still go back to your relationship with your parents, with your siblings, and now just growing up, your relationships. Yeah. How was it now in campus, now that you're mature, you've had these different transitions through the levels of life, and now you're at this place where you're at the highest peak before you get into your career?
Now at campus, as I said, I didn't get much into politics because I wasn't like much focused on what is happening in campus anyway. I was like, for me, I was on the other side of campus. I was on the other side of the creative space. Get any creative event happening, you would find me there.
Yeah.
But in terms of let's gang here, let's rally this and do that, no, I wasn't that kind of guy.
Yeah.
My friends used to get involved. Sometimes they would invite me, but it wasn't my point. And anyway, I also, by then I could talk a lot to my mom. And my mom used to tell me, please, I don't want to see a dead body home.
Yeah.
So it was something that she was always asking me about.
Yeah.
Sometimes she could even say, if they've started striking, you come back home.
Yeah.
Or you leave school and go back to the home, like to the orphanage home or something.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that was it.
So how did it also maybe like shape your worldview, your perspective?
Now, for me, I think it helped me to see the world from the other side.
Yeah.
Like I could be the look on kind of person who sees things, who observes, and then if I want to release anything, I get my pen and paper.
Yeah. Also, that's where you got to release.
Yeah, because now I think by then I started writing.
Yeah.
Then I tried to write. Since I was learning guitar, I tried to write like choruses and verses and songs. Yeah. Of which it also didn't mount like it's gonna be a reality, because it seemed like I was struggling with getting my beats with everything together. So I realized I wasn't like a designed, pre-qualified songwriter.
Yeah.
But then, as we will later on see, I think I realized that all those draft 1, draft 2s were actually poetry pieces that I now try to embody in the work that I'm releasing now.
Okay, so but at most poetry now started. You started measuring on poetry now in campus. That's where now you got like a proper grip of what.
Yeah, actually, let me call it writing.
Yeah.
Writing started in campus.
Yeah.
That's when now, because of the learning of the guitar, the chapel space, I started now involved in playing for bands at praise rallies, stuff like that. So words now became around me for some good time. I could now start to read and understand what I'm reading, and then stuff like that. Poetry, as spoken word poetry now, that one comes later, way even years after I've done campus, let me say that.
Yeah.
It comes way here almost towards COVID time. That's when now I understand, I'm opened up to the fact that there's an art form called spoken word poetry. Yeah. But literally, I was just doing parts and bits of certain things, like as a jack of all trades on certain things.
I try to see. So were these inspirationals coming from like a point of like life experiences? Was it just like a form of art? Or at this moment in life, how was your poetry inspired?
I would say it was just experiences. A few heartbreaks here and there. You know, when you're at campus, you try to chase this one chick and she seems like she's over the Mars or something. Then you just try to draft a song, try to draft a poetic verse or something. So it was much inspiration. Then I wasn't even like much intrigued in writing social cause or something. No. That wasn't my thing. It's like the way I felt it, the way I write it.
Yeah, were there lessons that you maybe learned the hard way, or were there life lessons that have taken you through these stages of life?
Yeah, I think there's quite a number, like life lessons that can't be really explored too much, like to extent, but I would say quite a number of them, because transiting from being a boy to a man also requested that you really now size up. I think at some point I had to leave home and now start my rent my own place, stuff like that, catch up, looking for a job, all that stuff. So they were quite a number, but I would say they've all been geared towards, I think, making the person you guys are now seeing on the camera right now.
Now at work, so you went to like a processing plant.
Yes.
After 6 months, you quit.
Yeah. Then I quit, and I'm joined by actually I go visit a friend who is now an MD of a company that I worked for 3 years before I joined another company, and then the current company I'm working for. So after quitting the factory work, I joined a friend of mine called Edimat. We call him Edimat. He had met me at campus. He came to upgrade from diploma level to degree. So I was helping him a lot with coursework and stuff and discussions. So in that transition of resigning from the factory, I went and paid him a visit. And to my surprise, he opens up a store and he has all this equipment in the store, like refrigeration equipment that is supposed to maintain ACs, refrigerators and stuff like that. And it's like, I'm in a period of trying to open up a company. And I'm like, okay. But I don't have like a person who can really run the ads, because he was having quite a number of jobs he was handling by then. I was like, if you're available and you can go to the registration bureau and look for all that, you run the leads on that, it's okay. You can help me on that. I will finance whatever it takes. And once we establish, then you can start working with this. And that's how I got my first job. And we happened to get a contract where we were maintaining refrigeration, ACs and refrigerators. And then I was juggling as the office manager and also the technician at the same time. That's when I also learned a lot of technical repairs and stuff. Then after that, 3 years down the road, I start now shaping my life as how am I going to be. I never wanted to see myself, as I said, as a long-time technician forever and ever. No. I wanted to have something established, maybe of myself. So I was introduced to facilities management, which was a little way easier, open. Yes, it requires I usually do the technical part in that field also, as a facilities manager and facilities coordinator. But then at least the beauty is we work in teams and we are not necessarily that you're supposed to be the one executing the work. Sometimes you have to monitor the contractors and just schedule works for those people. Yeah. So after realizing that template, I joined that field. A company called Night Frank hired me. I was the handyman at Acacia Mall for 2 years. And then COVID hit. When COVID hit, I resigned again. I joined a new company that I'm now working for. Shout out Bro Uganda. Those guys have reshaped my career because they accepted me with all my multi-talentism, if that word exists. Multi-talentism kind of stuff I do. So they are aware of what I do almost in every place, and they've really tried to accommodate me in that the creative part of me in that sphere.
How is it experiencing like art and the writer's block and navigating all through this, and also still sticking to your career for like the 8 to 5?
And the truth is, sometimes it's draining. Sometimes it's draining. I reach like, and I'm like, should I continue? Should I not continue? But again, I'm this kind of active member. Literally, I'm not this kind of person who love to take a month without having what to do. So on the other side, it helps me to be able that once I'm not into the curating space, I'm not on stage, at least I'm not also down at home, I'm doing something. So I'm just trying to navigate the fact that I know how to strike a balance between the two. But literally, that's it. It's really a challenging bit at some point. Though, for now, that's what we do.
Are there misconceptions that you always get about yourself?
Yeah, many times. I at some point, I think there's this one statement that I've always, I don't know whether I'm starting to nullify it or whatever, that the jack of all trades is not a master. Okay, like it's a master of none, something like that. It troubled me a lot because so many people used to tell me, man, you're a jack of all trades. You need to like settle. You're not settling. And I tried to really like kind of drop so many other things, and I'm like, try to focus on this. But always the creative bit of me is always throwing me out. It's like I can show up at your event and you're setting up and my mind is thinking, it's just listening, how does the sound, like how is the sound? And if there is any glitch, you will find me at the sound guy's table. I'm like, why is this buzzing? Why is this happening? Like, I just want, is there anything? Is there any way I can help you with, like, something like that? So I'm this kind of active member. And I think that's my character. Now I know.
And do people still really get it, or they
few get it? So I think some people may think I overplace myself. But I think it's just that bit of me that I'm trying to tame and try to make.
When people see or say GEOFF, what goes through their mind?
Someone told me, someone made a comment and said, if you want a project to do with any conscious social justice stuff, like you want to write about and you want a poet, call GEOFF the poet. I think now that's what goes in their mind, because the other people call me GEOFF the everything. So I think people think GEOFF can do anything. He can be a broker. He can be anything. So they think they can find it easy to call me. I mean, this is the show, and say, we need you. Our sound is not good. Please come around and help us.
And where do you think that comes from? Where do you draw that inspiration from in able to morph and do typically everything? Just
like I think I said, it may go down back. At an age, something I didn't tell you, I was quite timid. Like I was timid. I could not express myself well. I think it goes back to the statement I told you when some guy told me, look straight into my eyes. I was given the stature, people had said, bullied me a little bit. So I wasn't that confident enough. So I tried to tell myself, let me be good at this. And then I'll show up. Yeah. So I engaged in so many things, and now being able that I was involved in, and I took different fields to come to reach where I am right now. I think I experimented with so many things. I may not be an expert at everything, but at least I have a clue on that thing. And maybe if there's an expert standing next to me, they can make their work easier.
In most of your poetic pieces, they're mostly about social justice, uprising, and looking at life at a different lens. And then amongst the most notable people that you always quote or have a lot of dedication to is Mose Radio. So who was he to you, and why is he always like a constant figure in like all your poetic pieces?
Actually, the surprising bit about Mose, rest in peace. I did meet him physically. There was a time when they came to Seta High School, and that day I wasn't there. I wasn't at the school. But they came to do, I think it was like a appearance show with The Good Life, the whole crew. But I wasn't at school then. So I missed seeing him physically. And till his passing, I hadn't really gotten that opportunity like to attend his shows or something, or a live band session where he was. And let me say, like, during his time, his songs didn't make much sense to me, because by then, as I told you, I was much into the chapel and like the Christian stuff. So I wasn't so much into. But again, I could listen to the words. So when I started exploring my writing, like kind of journey now, when I stood in around like the late ends of like the last years of campus and then starting my life, my career. Now I started listening critically to the words. And when I explored his words, I realized this guy was a genius. This guy was writing stuff that was happening in society and making it so easy to digest. If he wanted to abuse you, Emma, right on this show, he would write you a song and he would jump to it. And yet he's abusing you. And he would write a song about a DJ, and that DJ plays that song in the club. Yet the song is about that same DJ. Is that being a genius?
That's being a genius.
So that's why I respect to that guy.
That's why you always.
Yes. So I also try to, I wouldn't say a copycat, but I'm trying to also use my way of writing to embody, even when I'm trying to tackle a social justice poem, whether it's a political monologue or a political kind of statement I want to release. I'd rather first sit back and see how poetic I can deliver it than just go off camera and just rant and even pinpoint names.
So we'll just take a short commercial break, and then we'll be back as we delve more into the life of GEOFF, the poet. Keep it locked at HomaBayUnplugged, and remember, we are at the Pearl of Africa in Kampala, Uganda, as you can even see with the outfit. The kanzu, it's not the kanzu.
This is the kanzu.
Welcome back. This is HomaBayUnplugged, where we delve into voices from the heart of the lake. Here we interview change makers, people who do impactful things in the society, people who don't just sit back and wait for things to move in the society. They take affirmative action and they make sure they make the world a better place than they found it. And in one of those stories that's taking us global, we are in the heart of Kampala, Uganda, at the Pearl of Africa. As you can see today, I'm donned. I've been given the Ugandan kanzu with the emblem.
The emblem. That is the Kabaka's emblem.
The Kabaka's emblem. So this is so kingly.
Yes.
For our premiere episode in Kampala, I have to be like the Kabaka, yes. So I feel like a Kabaka.
Yes.
Yes. I need to get a Ugandan name now.
You should be, you have to be given, can I give you the one from my clan?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I can give you my daddy's name.
Yeah.
Mutagubia.
Mutagubia.
Yes. Now, Mutagubia means whatever you let's say dress on.
Yeah.
You never dirten it. It remains as clean. You always preserve it clean, pure.
Amazing. Yeah. That's why you're on white now.
Yeah.
Amazing. So before we went from the break, you telling us and drawing a few nuggets and inspiration from the life of the late Moses Radio, who was amongst the top artists in Kampala, who even brought Kampala to the limelight and Uganda as a whole, and even Africa as a continent through his music.
Yes. Yeah. So I was trying to really, guys watching, to let you know that rest to the genius, rest in peace to the genius, Moses Radio. I have a whole poem about him because I really felt like it was due, with due honors to celebrate his legacy. And that just gives you the quality that we have not only in Uganda, but also East Africa, Africa as a continent. It's not just about the color black and anything. I think it's way much beyond more. So we might not have the so given resources and opportunities that the Western world, and respect to the Western world, that they have, but you just don't know the gold mine in Africa in terms of talent and creativity.
So how has it been navigating work, career, social life, and just balancing life as an artist in Uganda?
Yeah, now at this point, as you can all know, it's not just now about whatever background I've been telling you. It's much now about the focus of what I'm taking on. I'm now really taking on the journey of being a good spoken word artist. I can really speak, and I'm really so deliberate on that. The jack of all trades in me still knows it's geared for that move. So navigating social life and everything in Kampala, it's something that now I take consciously. I know exactly. I'm trying to be that artist that can be able to live by what they are doing. So there is a lot of happening. There's a lot of ups and downs in whatever we do. But the truth be said, there's so many also opportunities that are yet, that tend to go unnoticed. And as a person navigating this whole artistry and creative space, I seek to tap into the opportunities that we have.
In terms of mental wellness, because you've also done pieces relating to mental health and mental wellness. And just even apart from just drafting the piece, even like personally, have you been able to maintain that mental wellness and also staying sane and navigating bills? Because I see most of events, in as much as they bring in pay, it's not well enough to put food on the table. That's why I've seen a couple of artists delve into depression, some changing careers, some never want to associate with the art industry and the things that it involves. And even recently when you talk about, like, everywhere I go, everyone wants me to give me a piece. It's like you can't go to a doctor and tell them, can you have a sample surgery? When you go to a bank and say that you're an artist, they're like, you guys bring me another career so that I can be able to support your art. Have you been able to navigate that as an artist?
I really acknowledge that, and I know at some point many of our fellow artists have really succumbed to this. And to me, every single time I try to tell myself that, okay, my art is a way of service to people. I know it's It's not a green flag for you to say, no, you can come and do for free because you're trying to do a service. But I would say I want to look at my art form as not just a money-making venture, but some piece of work that can be transited from one generation to another. And that being said, I try to feel like if something is gonna really play around with my mental health, I don't want to draw much expectations. So even if you kind of hire me for a show, I've always told myself it's until I receive that check that I will really know you've fulfilled your kind of commitment. If not that, I can easily know it's fine. If it doesn't come through, it's okay. But I try to lower my expectations within myself, because that is where it starts from. That's where we've lost so many partnerships and stuff, because maybe on the first engagement, things didn't really work out, and you feel like, I can't even get that other opportunity. So even when that person really gets the opportunity, they feel offended to reach back to you. So I'm trying to tame the ego in me of knowing, yes, I'm this star that you people want to watch and associate with. But again, I'm like, that does not take away my character as a human being of the community. So it's a tricky lane, but I would say simply that has helped me a little bit.
So what keeps you going to this art that's more socially draining? Because most of your pieces, you write it from the heart. And then it's really heartfelt, and then it transitions to a lot of dynamics and a lot of perspectives about life. What keeps you grounded to it? Like, why do you always keep going back to this form of art?
Now, I would say partly, even when I try to fight my inner self, I'm this kind of person who will wake up in the early hours of the night and will try to write something. Like, there are some things which just come and then you just have to write about them. So what keeps me going back is like, this is my mandate. This is something I was designed to do. So over years, I've fought my inner self, and now it seems like I can't fight anymore.
So these amongst the few segments that we like sharing at HomaBayUnplugged. And if you could go back in time, and give advice to your younger self, what would you tell the younger Joe?
I would tell myself, I wish I just went to a creative school at once. Because I think between my teens and my 20s, I would have done more things. I was more dedicated. I was more decisive. I wasn't scared of anything. All my high school, I was this kind of a guy who can do anything, despite being timid within himself. Unless I was involved in so many things. So if I had gone just like right from the creative school, I would have done much more. Nevertheless, here we go.
What makes you proud as a Ugandan? As an artist, like when you walk around, like what makes you feel proud being in the Pearl of Africa?
Man, there's nothing like home, but man, Uganda is a different home. I think one of my biggest things about Uganda is the available food, man. You can eat anything when you want it. So I'm proud of my homeland, Uganda, for that. And as an artist, at some point I would say, regardless of how you want to package your art form, in Uganda it is easy to start up something and build it up. I would say I'll actually applaud the political sphere or the leadership for that. Let's keep it at that at least we have that space whereby you can move out, do something, regardless of the packaging. I know at some point you guys close out to us, and you just close out to the artists and you don't know what they are really up to. But the truth be said, yes, we acknowledge the fact that we can move out and craft something. Yes.
What are the things that when you see and look about Uganda, say that, you know what, these are the things that I don't want to see changed?
Yes.
First, as a citizen of a country, and also as an artist navigating through these corners.
Yeah. As a citizen of, I don't know how best I can put this up, but whoever is watching this podcast, truth be said, we are in the 21st century.
Yeah.
Almost crossing over to the next century, right?
Yeah.
And man, we don't have a rail network in our country. Our transport infrastructure has its parts and bits. I think if we can settle the movement in this nation, we would be doing much more. I would love to be in Kampala this evening on this wonderful podcast. And then I can link to Kisumu or Homa Bay in the next 2 hours and say, I have my train ticket, and at least tomorrow I'll be in Nairobi or something. But because we don't have that in place, I think it also restricts us, even just within the nation.
Yeah.
I would be in Gulu.
Yeah.
But if I'm to be in Gulu, then I have to spend I have to plan for 2 days or something to be in Gulu.
Yeah.
Which still kills time and also kills creativity.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah.
So
then that is as a citizen.
Yeah.
As an artist, hey. It is my right. But I'm not talking about the right of the political activists. It is my pen and paper. Copyright is something we need to really look through. Because this work needs to be, our grandsons and children need to live by this work.
Yeah.
The famous Kadon Kamsinga Basude Haman, who we really thrive for, the guy who used to do his own guitars and singing.
Yeah.
By the way, he happens to come next almost in Chotela in Masaka.
Yeah.
And man, that guy, his legacy, if the copyright is in place, his grandson should be enjoying the fruits of his labor. So, copyright, I don't know, but we need it.
Yeah. If you had unlimited resources, blank check, what did you want to see change in Uganda? And then also, as you answer that, like in the next 10 years, where do you see Kampala?
Okay, now, if I had a blank check and I would like, let's say I'm in a space where I'm discussing with an investor or something, I'd think we need to invest more into creativity. We need to have more arenas, theaters, places where young people can come and try to experiment their thoughts and ideas. Innovative hubs for those who go for science areas. Not just highly ranked private individual spaces, but government-aided spaces, whereby you have most of the facility in place at the minimal cost someone could afford. If I want to do my maid show, I wouldn't love to take it in a private space. I would love to come to table with the government space, look at the check, see how we can levy on everything, and then we have this art form exhibited in the space that is worth it to be exhibited, which could be a win-win situation for me as an artist and the government as a lot. But if you simply come to push and tax the artist, like try to let me say limit his boundaries, and yet you're not having and open doors for them to also experiment with you, then chances are we are on different roads. So if it's a blank check, I would love to design a concept that each region has at least a 10,000 seater arena or a theater for that sake, and it is open to the people in that region to come and do what they can do.
As Ugandans, are there things that people can do individually to make the society habitable and to make even Uganda better than they?
Very true, because one of the things I've come to discover is whether it's security, whether it's service provision, for it to reach your doorstep, your neighbors can be much in provision than the government.
Yeah.
So meaning, if you care for your neighbors, chances are you're gonna live in a safe place. So I think, literally, as artists, as citizens of the country, let's embrace the fact that you care for your next door. I think COVID gave us a sample of that.
Yeah.
You could lack something to eat, but your neighbor has gotten food from the village, and before you know, they are knocking your door and they are sending you at least a bunch of matoke to cook that day.
Yeah.
And that is the simplicity of life.
Fun fact and also a fun segment. Like, before you ever leave Uganda, what are the things that you would like someone to experience? That's the pride of Uganda.
Now I know where the artists usually say, where are the girls?
Yeah.
But anyway, the thing is, I think if you're to come to Uganda, and before you leave Uganda, please ensure you check out our natural, can I call them natural spaces like lakes, rivers. Like, we have that in print. Like, there are so many places to explore. Like, sights and sounds, places to go to.
Yeah.
You need to visit Uganda's like different areas. You will see each area has.
Are there like specific ones that you would?
And obviously, you guys know we are the owners of the source of the Nile. I know my Kenyan friends want to claim that they also have a part on the Nile, but we are the guys. We can choose to divert the Nile to the other side. But anyway, joking.
Yeah.
So the thing is, the source of the Nile is good. Lake Victoria as a place, but then also we have a lot of national parks.
Yeah.
Like the Queen Elizabeth, known for so many things. Then we have the ones in the north, Mogahinga, and also the mountain Rwenzori. You guys need to.
Yeah, I see a lot of Rwenzori packaging in pretty much everything.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's a good place. I too, actually, have written about it. I think this is the time when I would ask Ministry of Tourism and Tourism, the Tourism Board.
Yeah.
You can sponsor a person like me to go and also explore, because I've written about the Rwenzori. I've not been there. I need to be on top and write the facts.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Amazing. Are there heroes? Can be Ugandan, can be globally, that you really like to meet? And if you had an audience with them, what would you tell them?
Yeah. Man, down my artist lane, I think I've really grabbed so many. I've met some. Yeah. I've met George the Poet.
Yeah.
George the Poet is a Ugandan based in UK.
Yeah.
But on the other side, I think I'd love to meet people like Pantrias Powell. He's a poet. I think who has also came through Def Jam. I would love to meet people like Black Chakla, Black Ice. Those guys really inspire me. Like, their writing really takes the same shape of what I do. I think on the top of the list is a guy called Clayton Jennings. That guy, shout out if you happen to see this podcast anywhere.
Yeah.
Clayton Jennings, his poetry like really shaped my narrative of how I should do. I know, I recognize him. He does a lot of gospel poetry.
Yeah.
But then his dedication to the game and everything, I really have to say, it's up to. And there are quite many more. I cannot really list them up, but I would say I'd love to meet as many as I can.
And then if you could have an audience, what would the conversation go like if you would have an audience with them?
I'd really ask them to tell me, maybe, okay, just to tell me what they take of me to be. I'd like honest answers.
Yeah.
Yes. If I'm to ask my audience, they should be able to tell me that.
If you could switch careers, what would you rather do?
I would love to be a painter.
Wow. Why painting?
Because I think the stories I have in written, I would depict them better if I was painting them. Yeah.
Yeah, really interesting.
Yeah.
Is there particular things that we'll get to hear it first on this podcast that people don't know about Geoff the poet?
Yes, I think there is. I think, I don't know. I think I have this, I don't know how this is termed, whereby I tend to panic when things are not going right.
Yeah.
I'm this kind of person who, I wouldn't call myself a perfectionist as such, but I want to see things the way we plan them to be. So if things are not happening, then I tend to panic. Like, my mind panics about it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sometimes even I can be the curator of the session, of the event, and my set reaches, and literally I've not even thought about preparing myself for that set.
Yeah.
But I was just trying to make these other things and other performers happy than me myself getting to the stage.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think that is something people don't know me. They think, no, he's just doing it because it is normal to him, but it's because I'm always panicking within myself.
Amazing. Looking into the future, where do we see Geoff the poet, Geoff as a person?
Geoff the poet. Actually, this year we are working on something called Steps and Footprints. That's a kind of an audio collection of some of my work that I would try to depict and share with my audience in terms of my steps and then the footprints I'm trying to do. Yes.
Wow. Really interesting. Well, that's a wrap on today's episode of HomaBayUnplugged, Voices from the Heart of the Lake. A huge chunk, we love to catch that.
Any piece for it.
Yeah, we'll do the piece at the end. Yeah. Well, that's a wrap for HomaBayUnplugged, Voices from the Heart of the Lake. A huge thank you to Geoff the poet for gracing this premiere episode.
Kampala.
At the heart
of Uganda.
Of Kampala, the Pearl of Uganda, the home of cranes, the home of Rolex, the home of everything beautiful, the greatest city in Africa, and the home of border borders.
Yeah.
Man, if you haven't been anywhere, you'd rather be in Kampala. Yes, and thank you for sharing your journey, your insights, and that's full of wisdom. And then if you enjoyed this episode, tell a friend to tell a friend to tell a friend to like, share, post, subscribe, and to get more of this story. If you have a guest who would love to be part of this show, you can link them up on these episodes. And also, if you have if you want to be a partner and a sponsor of this show, please reach out to us at HomaBayUnplugged on all our social media sites. And we believe to have more of these conversations, more of these narratives, more of these experiences as you move across the globe. And if you also want to be part of this also, please don't mind to reach us on all our social media sites. Like, post, share, subscribe, tell a friend, tell a friend, tell a friend. And as we end this episode, we like to hear more from Geoff the poet on his artistry line. Geoff, take it away.
Oh, yes. What a nice moment and what a wonderful moment. So happy to be hosted at HomaBayUnplugged. Looking forward to so many episodes that are coming through. Subscribe, like, share. That is the truth. That is the only way how wonderful works can be appreciated. The poem I'm doing is called I'm Geoff, the Poet. They said I walk next to my ancestors. That I was the perfect definition of down to earth. That I was such a lad that needed a chair to reach puberty. Now, as if playing with my body parts wasn't enough, they asked me that I should pray that the next birthdays come with ladders so that I could be able to take a sneak peek into my future. Literally, they dared my body stature, describing me with all sorts of insinuating metaphors. See, it took long to dare dressing in shorts, because literally, every single short was never short for me, Mr. Short. So, down that valley of the uncertain, I roamed with a mind that only knew feeble. But the darkness within my soul was meant to tremble, a fugitive of myopic centrism. Man, I hung on that cliff of self-activism until a lifeline was drawn for me to hang on. Scarred hands onto a rugged piece of wood, pierced feet onto a wedged log. Now, ladies and gentlemen, allow me through a small path right through your heartbeat. Take you down a journey of what was disguised under stature description. See, I'm not exceptional, but I'm just intentional, aka the international. Unpredictable, I'm rational in search of God's best direction. And with every single ink, I aim to be sensational. I seek to inspire before I expire. Regardless of my limited sphere, I seek and intend to explore. Like a camera, I focus on what's important, capture the good times and develop from the negatives. And in case it doesn't work out, guess what? I take another shot. I seek to capitalize, to conceptualize, to speak to the downcast, speak for the hurting outcast. I intend to capitalize on every single shot given, to make him known by whom this steward I own. Now speaking of where I will be without him, surely my little mind could never fathom. For all things were made through him, and nothing was ever made without him. And I'm part of his well-designed vessels. My life not my own, my life to him I do owe. Poetic, I'm artistic. Faith fanatic, yet realistic. Articulate with a futuristic, eloquent about the craptastic. My drafty 1, drafty 2 is my mandate. And it's always a pleasure reciting for you, my dear audience. And I'm Geoff, the Poet.
Drops mic, we end it. Watch out for more. Like, post, share, subscribe at HomaBayUnplugged.